So what seems to be the problem?
They just don't have speed, Joe. We need a fix for this as soon as possible.
The handling is a bit loose as the run goes on, but the speed is the big issue for sure.
Yeah, I agree with them. Same situation for me.
Okay, Ty told me the same last night. I will talk with the shop guys, and we will fix this by Vegas.
And you hear our emergency meeting there post-Las Vegas Monday morning, post-Atlanta Monday morning, heading into Las Vegas week there with Coach Joe Gibbs there, as well Hamlin and Bell joining myself. Gibbs there present from the team meeting this week. But we have had now 6 races under our belt with Joe Gibbs Racing. We've had the ups and downs, we've had some struggles, we've had some positives, but the mile-and-a-half package hasn't really benefited us so far in this team as a whole, other than Gibbs, of course, earlier in Chicagoland had a pretty good run, but Joe Gibbs as a whole last episode was a complete disaster here. And while we're going back-to-back mile-and-a-half racing, the first time this season we actually have the same type of track, 2 consecutive races at Las Vegas on the calendar this weekend here, as we've got the Gatorade colors on the car.
All right, mate, we've got changes to the cars this week. Hopefully we'll be stronger.
You hear James Small on the radio right there just letting us know pre-practice that there is changes done to the car coming into this weekend, not only for us but for Joe Gibbs as a whole. So we're hoping that this work over the course of the last week is really going to bring some promising signs here in Las Vegas. Now, you're going to notice this will be the first episode of really the future of this career mode. You're going to notice a lot more different camera options available in the post-editing that I do. That's due to the free camera mod that we now have. So I think you guys are going to enjoy some of the cool little aspects that I'm going to bring in to this career mode just with the camera mod, as well as even the thumbnails are going to change up quite a bit as well. Just really adds a lot more options. As you can see, our practice times on the board, leading us into qualifying here Saturday afternoon. Love this Gatorade scheme. The first time we'll be using it this season. DMoney whipped this up, and there's variants as well of the Gatorade that you're going to see with different colors as the season goes on, as well as a Florida themed Gatorade scheme that you'll see later in the season here. But qualifying with a goal of a 30.883 here, rolling through 3 and 4. Immediately it felt a little bit tight in the center of the corner, and I was really having to bank it up. So something that needs to be worked on going into the race. However, we crossed the line with a 30.983 and actually go P12, which I believe that's our best qualifying effort this season on a mile-and-a-half. So that's already something promising to be looking at. And what adds on to the promising stuff is, look at this, pole position, Tyler Reddick over Haley, another Toyota in third with JHN, Bell in fourth, Hamlin in the top 10 as well, myself just outside of the top 10, but Ty Gibbs way down the order there in the mid-20s, so not looking good for him as you see the rest of the qualifying order. Bowman outside the top 30, Kraus, Smith, Herbst, and Briscoe and Vargas all at the bottom. Derek Kraus making his Cup Series debut here today. Truck Series, Xfinity, they were all in town this weekend racing. We saw Dalton Sargent win his first Truck Series race in Martinsville over a short track ringer of Landon Huffman, but you got Hemrick in the top 5, Lane Riggs in the top 10. Riggs having a solid rookie season so far. You see the rest of the order there with the Parker Kligerman down in 25th, Ankrum 27th, all the way towards the bottom though, Castle and Stefan Parsons here as we roll through into the Xfinity Series recap for the weekend. It was William Zawalich for Joe Gibbs Racing picking up his first win of his career over Purdy, Love, Mayer, and Ty Dillon in the top 5. Rajat Caruth starting to get hot a little bit there in the top 10. Connor Zilish again, really struggling so far as he's really trying to adapt to ovals. He's kind of in a Shane Van Gisbergen situation where he's really having to adapt to ovals. So I expect him by mid-season to start to pick things up. A bad run for last episode winner Justin Allgaier down there in 32nd, of course, just behind Zilish. Josh Williams in 30th with Sieg in pool at the bottom of the grid with Haley Deegan as well. Nonetheless, let's get ready now to go racing in Las Vegas on the Cup Series.
Viva Las Vegas! We're mile-and-a-half racing again at the same track where a champion will be determined later in the year. 6 races in, we've seen 6 different winners. Who stands out as the favorite so far?
It has to be that Chastain boy, Mike. You know, he's been strong all year so far, but hasn't got that win yet. I think that changes today, however.
Ross has been strong, but I've got Larson right now. He maybe doesn't quite have the consistency Ross has, but when he's fast, he's faster than Ross.
All right, team. Practice qualifying already looked better for a mile-and-a-half package, so let's just keep it up today and see what we can do.
Yep, get after it and let me know what changes you want.
We're ready to roll from Vegas, and you see the stories of the race. Chase Elliott looking a little bit slow coming into this weekend after what's been a solid start to the season. Nothing special, really just an average start there. Derek Kraus making his debut, and we got Rajah Caruth in the field for the Andretti 98 as well this weekend. So watch out to see what he can do after a strong run in the top 10 on the Xfinity Series side of things. What can he put up on the board with the Andretti number 98 today? Let's find out as the green flag is out and we are racing from Las Vegas Motor Speedway here. Joey Logano and the Hunt Brothers machine on the inside, and that number 22 Ford Dark Horse Mustang, as Tyler Reddick will lead the field down into turn number 1. Up ahead you can see Chris Buescher there already trying to go just about 3 wide. Now Ryan Blaney up here in the mix as well. It's been a rough start to the season for Ryan Blaney. He looked hot in the first couple of races and he's really cooled off since. Is today going to be an opportunity for that team to turn things around here as I go all the way up to the outside here in that third lane? Kyle Larson going through on the middle. Is someone slowing up? That might be my teammate right there of Christopher Bell, or no, I think it's the 60 of Justin Haley. He's off the pace right off the bat, and you see me go to the outside of his teammate now, the 17 of Chris Buescher, and sure enough that Walmart number 60 is going the wrong direction early on. Your Richmond Raceway winner Haley has been very back and forth this season. That third RFK car has really struggled for consistency. They're either really fast or they're really slow, and we're seeing that again here today. So he's going to continue to fade down the order. But right now, as we start lap 3, it's not Tyler Reddick, your pole winner, out in front. It's John Hunter Nemechek and his 5 Toyotas in the top 5, but now Denny Hamlin to the point as well. Bell up there in the mix. Bubba Wallace and his teammate of Tyler Reddick up there in the mix as well. So Toyota has made some clear strides forward on the mile-and-a-half package coming into this weekend, and we're seeing it on showcase here on just lap 4 of 19 here in stage 1. Passing the 22 and the 24, we go up into P7 now. Chris Buescher, the lone Ford in the top 6, at least, with Logano being just behind in P8, but I go to the outside of this Fastenal machine and that number 17 through turn 1 and 2. You can see Hamlin, his final, of course, season in the Cup Series, leading the way for finally the first time this season. As I got now Logano to my inside, I washed way up on the exit of turn 2 there. As I'm trying to make this outside work, I felt like I just couldn't quite get the car to turn the way I needed it to on the inside. Here now, crash in front of us. Bubba Wallace blows a tire and a hard impact into the outside wall for the DoorDash machine. That was a major collision as we listen in on the radio.
That one hurt, boys. Cars killed.
You hear the radio from Bubba Wallace. Sounded like that one actually might have shook him up a little bit there based off of his words there, saying it did hurt. That's going to be the end of the day after what was looking very promising, only just a few laps in, of course, but he was looking very strong as well. Bubba Wallace having, overall, just a very solid season, but things come to an abrupt end here today in Las Vegas as we'll get ready to go back racing here. Lined up behind the 2-time Cup Series champion from 2018-2022, Joey Logano, as we kick off about the halfway point just about here in stage number 1. Lap 9, still 11 to go in this opening stage. William Byron and that Raptor machine lined up just behind myself. You still got much Toyota presence, Hamlin as well as Bell. Then you got John Hunter Nemechek there for Legacy Motor Club, Tyler Reddick, then myself here. All of us in the top 6. Gibbs a little ways further down the order, as well as Eric Jones a little bit outside that top 15 kind of range right now. You can just see him in frame right there. And then of course the 47 Corey Heim, rookie right now. Really a bit of a rough season to say the least for him in that 47 car. Another driver who's having a rough day, 2 drivers specifically, Chase Elliott and Corey LaJoie. Both of those guys, 2 Hendrick cars, really struggling right now for pace. They're both outside of the top 30 as we continue to hold on to P6 halfway through this opening stage. Right there, tucked in behind that Monster Energy Beast machine, 45 Toyota Camry of Tyler Reddick. But you can see Larson would be able to run me down here on lap 11 at the end of it to get to my outside, and he's bringing alongside him Ross Chastain and that Busch Light machine and that number 1. He's going to be able to get past me right here on the exit of turn 2. So down to P8 as I'm starting to fade as the stage goes on, as here comes the 13 of Chandler Smith now up my inside, and he's going to pass me as well. So we drop down to P9 with 7 laps to go in the stage as Hamlin continues to lead the way. Right now, actually, Joey Logano has moved up to second, but Chastain and Larson, those are definitely 2 of the Chevrolets to pay attention here. 3 to go on the stage, and Kyle Busch is behind me in that Wendy's machine in P10, but the caution's going to fly, thank goodness, because we were really starting to fade there as the stage was going. Yeah, I was getting quite loose there at the end of that stage.
Okay, cool. We'll tighten it up here for you.
So you hear our radio there with our crew chief of James Small, and now getting ready for the start of stage number 2. It was loose, but it was also tight at the same time. It was really weird. So we actually go a little bit creative on the wedge going down on it, but hoping that it snugs up a little bit at the same time with some of the tire pressure adjustments. Here's a replay for the caution. It's Daniel Suarez in the Meyer Shank. You saw it right there in that pink machine, the smoke pouring out of the back of his car. So that will bring out the yellow as we get ready to go green for stage number 2, which is officially underway here from Las Vegas Speedway. You got the 13 of Chandler Smith there just in front of us. One of the Rookie of the Year competitors, Hamlin, will lead the way down towards turn number 1 as Suarez, actually, after that mechanical issue, he remains in the race. They got it fixed under caution. He's still at the very back of the field there, as you can see. Just behind, you got the submarine car of Brad Keselowski as we head down this back straight away towards turn number 3, settling in to 8th place now as Hamlin's going to get back out in front and bring Christopher Bell with him. I wash up the track a little bit here through 3 and 4. Reddick to my outside. 21 laps of racing in stage 2, so a bit close on feel here, so we can't quite make it to the end of the stage currently, but we'll have to wait and see how things play out. Will we get a caution like we did in stage 1? We'll really just have to be patient and let this stage kind of come to us now. And as well, what's this car going to drive like as the run goes on? We've clearly made some big gains as a group here, as an organization for Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, Hamlin wins the first stage, Bell up there in the top 5, we're up here in the top 10, Reddick's having a good run as well as John Hunter Nemechek. So Toyota, Joe Gibbs, and the Alliance teams all making big gains coming into this weekend for the mile and a half in Vegas. So no matter what, it's a step in the right direction here for us today now as we continue this little side-by-side back and forth with Kyle Larson, but he's utilizing that outside to perfection as Kyle Larson does, and he would eventually be able to just stay there in front of me clear for P7 as I'm starting to already on lap 5 feel a bit of a struggle in this car. You can see me really chasing the car up on the exit of turn 2, starting to get a little bit tight on the exit of the corner, and this would continue lap 5, chasing it up through 3 and out of turns 4 into the outside while on the exit of the corner. We continue on, but a good little hit there on the right side of the car, and Keselowski. Gibbs now into the top 10. Where'd he come from? Kyle Busch going to go around us as well, so we drop to P12. In our rear view mirror, you immediately see the 2 Andretti cars, Carson Hocevar as well as Rajah Caruth in his first Cup start this season, as he of course trying to make a name for himself to get into the Cup Series full-time next season. And here comes Caruth now to my inside. He'll take P12. Just behind us you got Hocevar as well as Austin Dillon in that number 3 car, but here goes Hocevar to the inside now through 3 and 4. Lap 8, Hamlin continues to lead the way, but at this point I'm just hanging on. Now obviously we've got a little bit of damage on the right side of the car. Clearly the car not handling the way we need it to be, a little bit too tight in the corners, but now new leader Ross Chastain in the number 1. Chastain, a very solid history when it comes to this track. He won the very first race actually at Vegas that we came to here in this career mode in season number 1, and last season in the spring race he ended up finishing 6th here. So very good history for Chastain, but the caution's gonna fly here in stage 2, and you immediately see it is going to split the strategy all over the place. Chastain's going to remain on the racetrack, but 2nd through 10th, they are electing to come into the pits, but this is going to be a theme that we see throughout the grid. Several cars are going to stay out with a large majority coming into the pits, and one of those is going to be us coming in. Chase Elliott is down in 39th place right now. We go down on the wedge. That's the change we make. Here's the reason for the caution. Chris Buescher, RFK, 17 into the outside wall, blows the right front tire. Fortunately, he was already up there in that 3rd lane, so not a big impact, but that brings out the yellow. We lose 6 positions, so we've got some slow cars up front that are really going to make things interesting now, as it's going to be green flag racing here, lap 15, coming to, of course, the final 7 laps of this 2nd stage, and this is an opportunity for us because these slower cars in front are going to hold back a whole lot of cars. Rajah Caruth is up there leading this race right now. He stayed out along with Brett Moffitt in the 51, Riley Herbst, Zane Smith in the 21 as well, just to name a couple of drivers, and of course Ross Chastain. He actually, after what looked like he was going to stay out, he would actually end up pitting. So the 1 car did come in, get tires feel. Look at Austin Dillon, 3 wide on the top. They're going forward now. I'm getting aggressive as well up the inside of Hocevar as we now get to the back of our teammate. We'll go forward 4 wide on Ty Gibbs, John Hunter as well. Now we'll get to the inside of Reddick. We're still 4 wide into turn number 1. Rajah Caruth driving away as we continue in 4 wide madness here. Logano on the far outside, and look at the track position we are gaining right now. There's Corey LaJoy in that high V, number 48, having a miserable day now, trying to get some stage points out of it, but I don't think it's going to work in his favor. And we would slice through, passing everybody 3 wide here with briefly Zane Smith as well as Riley Herbst to the inside of the 51 of Brett Moffitt, who's behind the wheel of that car this weekend. We clear him into turn 1, but here comes Chastain. Caruth all the way up there on the exit of turn 2, down the back straightaway, but Chastain to my inside on the exit of turn 2. He would clear me into turn 3. That number 1 car very, very fast here today. Now Chastain having a heck of a start to the season, as he has really every season so far in this career mode. He's been so strong. As you can see me right here out of turn 4, lap 18 of the stage, having to chase a car up the track, and I did it again a corner later in turn 2. Chastain back to the lead over Caruth, but here comes Denny Hamlin now trying to get 3rd place from myself, as we have a huge buffer to the cars behind that really struggled to get through the traffic, unlike myself, Chastain, and as you can see, Denny Hamlin as well. So we dropped down to P4, but that's going to be as worse as it gets because we're coming to the final lap of the stage. So Chastain comes through to win stage number 2. Hamlin and Caruth wheel to wheel at the line. Hamlin gets him. Caruth P3 in that Andretti 98. A great effort there from the young driver, trying to make it from, of course, the Truck Series to now the Xfinity Series, and now he's trying to make that leap into the Cup Series, and he's certainly putting together a good application for that today. As you can see, the top 10, Austin Dillon there just inside the top 10 in that number 3. More adjustments to this car. We definitely have some work to do on it. It's not perfect by any means, as you could tell, continuing to struggle, and I couldn't even run down Caruth on significantly fresher tires at the end of that stage. And you can see a lot of just, tire pressures on the left side's going way down, down to about the 18 to 19 PSI range, while the right side's all the way up to 60 here as we get ready to roll for that 3rd and final stage. Focusing in on Todd Gilliland, your Daytona 500 winner from this season. Since then, it's not been as pretty as you see his finishes listed there. He's had some DNFs with some tire failures and whatnot, but he had some speed last episode in Atlanta, and it looks like they've got speed. They just need to, actually bring the results home, as we're going to go back racing from row 2 outside, just behind our teammate of Denny Hamlin, as you get a look from the spotter stand here above the racetrack. Now you get the same view that they do. Chase Elliott as well as Justin Haley currently lining up the back of the grid. Miserable days for those two drivers. Now as Caruth is wheel to wheel with Denny Hamlin as we exit turn 2 and head down this back straightaway. Again, view of the spotters stand as they go down this back stretch into turn number 3. Absolutely love the look of this camera view. It looks absolutely spectacular. I love this free camera mod allowing us to do some cool things like this going forward now. But Ross Chastain comes through to lead lap number 1 of stage 3. 23 laps remain as we look to the outside of that 98. We're going to utilize this 3rd lane. We haven't really ran it much since the beginning of this race, but now forced to be up here, of course, now against this 98 car. And look at the run we get down this back straightaway. We're going to get ahead of Caruth here on the run towards turn number 3, but we're going to try the top again. And through 3 and 4, going to be really a complete opposite scenario. It doesn't really do much for us here as we end up exiting the corner even with Caruth. So we would have to run it again in 1 and 2, and we would get the momentum and clear them again. So now it's like, okay, let's drop down to the inside. As I do that, I clip the apron a little bit. That washes me up the track a little bit, but we would stay ahead of Caruth for the most part. He gets back to my inside, but we stay ahead again on the exit of turn 2. So running P3, but it would be pretty short-lived. The top 2 driving away. Hamlin, Chastain on top of each other, but now Joey Logano to my outside as well. Into turn number 1, Kyle Larson filling up our rear view mirror. He nearly won last episode there where Chris Buescher was able to hold him off on that final restart in that number 17, and obviously things haven't gone well for Buescher today. Below the tire, and things have not been good for him early out in this race, but now I'm starting to drop again. Ty Gibbs has been working on that machine all day long, and he's going forward into the top 5 now. 1 win on the season so far from Gateway for Ty Gibbs. Here comes Tyler Reddick, a top 10 run all day for him. Top 10 run as well all day for the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek. We've been kind of back and forth a little bit, but the caution is going to fly with 18 to go. Everybody is going to come into the pits here Now, I was already tumbling down the order, so it was pretty obvious what we needed to do for tires, and we, of course, took 2 tires last episode in Atlanta with less laps left and ended up having everybody take 4, but I can tell you right now they're all going to take 2, while we're going to take 4. Brett Moffitt, your reason for the caution, another tire failure here in Vegas, and that brings out the yellow. So we dropped 16 positions down to 23rd behind Kyle Busch, Daniel Suarez, and that Meyer Shank 06 machine. We're back racing again here from Las Vegas. It's going to be 14 laps to go. Ross Chastain leads the field to the green flag here now. So we have 4 fresh tires. Everybody in front of us is on 2 tires instead. Ryan Blaney back here as well. Not a great run for Ryan Blaney again here, but how about Josh Berry? Fresh off the news last episode, of course, through Haas Racing. They will be splitting from Ford at the end of the season, but we are not sure if they are going to be going to Chevrolet, Toyota, or a potential new manufacturer that looks to be entering the sport at the end of the season. Chastain leads. Hamlin's dropped down to 4th place as they exit turn 4, and there you got Shane Van Hamburger, let's call him here today in that 97 SVG. Shane Van Gisbergen in the Wendy's machine. Love that paint scheme on that car. Now as he runs P17 just inside the top 20. Todd Gilliland on his outside as we're going to really go for that gap there. That wasn't a huge gap to work with, but it was enough for me to slip the nose up there. And now up into P17 we go, putting some pressure on the back of that Snapple 43 of Eric Jones. We'll get to his inside on the exit of turn 4, and we're going to be able to pass him as well as we're bringing Kyle Busch forward with us. Chastain continues to lead the way here from Las Vegas. As you can see, with our 4 fresh tires, we are moving through, passing Noah Gregson in the Colleague 10, passing Cindric in the 2, and now to the inside of Austin Dillon is Denny Hamlin back to the lead here from Las Vegas as we come through to 10 laps to go. Hocevar 11th, Caruth in 10th. Caruth having such a good run for Andretti, and same for Hocevar, while their teammate of Sammy Smith hasn't quite been on it here today with 9 to go. We had unfortunately hit a point now though where my car was starting to fade a little bit here, and you can see it slipping and sliding around a little bit there. A bit of contact on the door of the 98 of Caruth as we crossed the line now to hit 8 laps remaining. We'll go up the inside of Hocevar, and this will be a move to put us, of course, into that top 10. Chandler Smith right up there next, but Chastain back to the lead over Denny Hamlin here in these closing laps. Hamlin hasn't won since the Richmond Spring Race last season. He would love to get back to a victory lane, especially, of course, with this being the final season of full-time Cup Series competition for Denny Hamlin here now as we continue on. Lap 62 in behind this 45 of Tyler Reddick, clipping the apron, but the caution is going to fly, and that is going to force a 2-lap dash here from Vegas. This is not going to be overtime, as it will instead be 2 laps in regulation, and it's Eric Jones blowing a tire down the back straightaway, chases it up the track into the outside wall. Caution out again, as they've all been the same reason today. Tire issues, what appears to be front tire issues specifically, all race long. We're going to get ready to go back racing here from Vegas. It's 2 laps to go. We've had such a back and forth day here. Of course, we start the run really good, and then we kind of fade, and now we're in that fade portion of the run again. But we run P10. Can we get our first top 10 at 1.5 miles this season? It's going to be hard, because look at this, through 1 and 2, the car's just sliding the whole corner right there, through the center, the entry, the exit as well. We chased it around on the exit of turn 2, but that did not feel good at all. Down this back stretch into turn number 3, it's all Ross Chastain, and it's Hamlin fading back, and Logano pushing through into the 2nd position instead. We jump down to P11, maybe P12, as Austin Dillon up the inside, as we have a bit of a whip out from the rear end there as we start the final lap here from Vegas. Behind us, it's Caruth as well as Kozlowski into turn 1. We go defensive and go to the inside, nearly into the back. We do touch the back of the 3, and that actually really plows the car on the exit, but helps the 3. He goes 3 wide with John Hunter, Nemechek, and Hocevar down this back straightaway for the final time in Las Vegas. Chastain to the top, Logano all the way down to the white line. Who's going to get back to the line first now as they exit turn 4 side by side? I think it's going to be Chastain to the line. Yes, it is. Chastain holds off Logano, and he will win for the first time this season. As you can see all the way at the back, it's LaJoy and Elliott with horrendous efforts, but P12 for ourselves here today, as Ross Chastain for the first time this season and the 2nd time at Las Vegas, he gets to burn it down. We may have missed out on the top 10, but overall, I mean, that's a huge improvement for a 1.5 mile package this season. Bell, Hamlin, top 10s as well. John Hunter with the top 10. Only one Hendrick car in the top 20. That was Kyle Larson. comparison, Byron was the next highest in 24th. Embarrassing. SVG 23rd. Ryan Blaney down in 28th as well. Justin Haley, your Richmond winner, 33rd. Elliott all the way down in 35th. Just ran bad all day. Corey LaJoy, 37th. Terrible day for him as well. Jones, Busher, Wallace with the DNFs as you see the playoff standings there. Kozlowski, the last guy in. Hamlin with what is third top 10 of the season now into the playoffs finally as we run P8 in the playoff standings. Chastain at the top of the board. Next episode we're road racing. I'll see you guys from Mid-Ohio. Thank you for watching and have yourselves a great day.